The authorities just decided that these 42 were to be kept out of Malta. And they were kept detained in concentration camps in Africa for 3 years, from 42 to 45. Before the war, the big division was between those who were happy to be a colony of the British Empire and those who were not happy to be a colony of the British Empire. And there was a movement to intern them. There were, I believe, about 100 in all. They often asked, "Why are you detaining us?" And they never got an answer. The Second World War started on my 4th birthday. And my father was arrested a few days before the war started. They came, they said, "Mr. Bonello, would you come with us?" It was decided to exile them, to deport them from Malta. "42 were deported because might is right. We want to exile them, let the courts bleed." My father told my mother, "Rina, I think I'd better take some pajamas with me because I don't think I'll be sleeping here tonight." And he did not sleep there after night. He did not sleep home again for 5 years. The crossing was absolutely terrible. It was frightening. They were told officially by the officers in charge, if the ship was hit, any internee seen heading for a lifeboat would be shot on sight. In Uganda, they were locked up in a huge area where there were these concentration camps. They weren't really ill-treated. Mostly the suffering was moral suffering, not actual physical suffering. They had no freedom of movement, the fact that they were separated from the families. There were no telephones at that time. There was no communication except written letters. And the letters were censored like lace, because every word that was considered to be compromising was sizzled out. He knew that his family was living in wartime in Malta with bombs falling every day. He knew that he was not providing for the family. We lived on charity. My mother had zero income. The British were not horrible, but the fact the Maltese had no say, no ultimate say in anything except what the master allowed us to do. That, I think, was absolutely unacceptable. When he came back, I was 9, so I missed bonding with my father. He came back in 45. He didn't like to talk a lot, probably not to open old wounds. After the war, they used to meet. And I remember sometimes I was present, I was a little boy, but sometimes my father used to take me to these meetings, informal meetings of the internees. I believe that injustice is a great formative element of the character. If you have suffered a big injustice, it's going to impinge on your character. And the fact that they were unfairly treated by the British authorities, by the British Empire, I think fortified their resolution towards independence. In that sense, yes, it had a direct influence on fortifying the spirit of independence.